Hello, my name is Nathan Taylor, otherwise known as Sockmatician, and this is a video tutorial to accompany the Sockmatician's double knitted brioche ebook. This particular tutorial shows you how to work the horizontal and vertical transitions at the same time partway through a pair, and those kind of transitions are between double knitting and double knitted brioche. As you can see from this practice swatch here, I've got some double knitted brioche on the needles, and I'm almost at the point where I want to start working in double knitting across the rest of this row. So I'm horizontally transitioning because I'm working along the row in one technique and continuing in another. And it's a vertical transition as well because I'm going to be working the double knitted stitches into the double knitted brioche stitches from the previous row. And it's halfway through a pair, which means that I'm going to start the transition not here where I normally would, keeping the pair of double knitted brioche stitches intact, but I want to transition here and turn this stitch with its yarn over into a brand new pair of double knitted stitches. So in order to do that, what I'm first of all going to do is I'm going to work that stitch of the old pair, leaving myself at the point where I'm going to start working into this pair and turning it into double knitting. So I've just finished the double knitted brioche knit stitch with my knit coloured yarn at the back of the work and my pearl coloured yarn is at the front. Step one here is to take your pearl coloured yarn to the back of the work, going over the top of the right needle. That gives the yarn over to the stitch we've just worked. Now with both yarns at the back of the work, I'm going to slip one stitch with its yarn over, that's the pearl stitch we're dealing with, knitwise from the left needle to the right. That looks like that. Step 3, slip only the stitch proper without its yarn over, knitwise back from the right needle to the left. Sometimes in order to get at it, you might need to just nudge the yarn over to the right hand side there like that. So you can slip that stitch knitwise from the right needle to the left. Step 4 is slip just the yarn over, without its stitch of course, knitwise again back from the right needle to the left. And that looks like that. Step 5, complete the process by working a DK pair into the newly created pair of loops. So I'm just going to work with knit coloured stitch with my knit coloured yarn and a pearl coloured stitch with my pearl coloured yarn. So make sure I keep that yarn over the top of the right needle from before. I can then just work knit with my yarn A, bring both yarns to the front, pearl with my yarn B, and take both yarns to the back. And that is how I worked halfway through a pair, a horizontal and vertical transition at the same time. The second situation you might find yourself in where you need to do a horizontal and vertical transition at the same time, partway through a pair, is this one. Can you see I've got a field of double knitting here? Obviously it's surrounded by double knitted brioche, and I want to go back to working in double knitted brioche at this point here, which as you can see, this pair of stitches, this pair of double knitting stitches arises from this column of pearl stitches. So I want to, so everything matches up, pearl, knit, pearl, knit, pearl, knit, pearl, knit, pearl. So I need to start my double knitted brioche with a pearl stitch, and I need to condense these two stitches into one. And here's how to do it. So having just completed my pair of double knitting stitches, because I'm working across the row here, so that's the horizontal transition from DK to DK brioche, and it's vertical of course because I'm in DK at the moment here and I'm turning it into DK brioche. Having just completed a pair of double knitted stitches, both of my yarns are at the back of the work. Step 1 in the transition then is to bring both yarns to the front of the work, coming between the needles. That's nice and simple. Slip one stitch, it has no yarn over, knitwise from the left needle to the right. Step 3 is slip a second stitch, it also has no yarn over, also knitwise from the left needle to the right, like that. Step 4 is slip both stitches, purlwise this time, back from the right needle to the left. There you go, that's just remounted those two stitches individually like that. And step 5, using your pearl coloured yarn, which is the one here in front, purl these two stitches together through the back leg. So that means the tip of the right needle goes round the back and into both stitches coming towards you like that. Then you can purl the two together through the back legs, and then you take your knit coloured yarn to the back of the work going over the top of the right needle. As you can see, I'm now in the correct positions with my yarns to continue working in double knitted brioche. So if I were to continue over the top of these stitches, it's just the standard vertical transition. If these were already double knitted brioche stitches, I could just carry on as normal. So those are the two situations where you might want to work horizontal and vertical transition at the same time, part way through a pair.